Don't define your self-worth through your job. When I was in my mid-20s, about 26 if memory recalls, I lost my job and it left me devastated. When I came home after being told the depressing news, panic started to set in. I felt like a failure. I was stricken with panic and fear about the future. So many thoughts were running through my head. How will I live? What happens if my money runs out? Will I be on the streets? The stigma attached with having no job. What will I tell my family and friends? I'll be a laughing stock. My head was literally spinning. My thoughts were coming in thick and fast. After 3 hours of feeling like my head had got run over by a steamroller, I started to calm down and wondered why I was in such a panic. The period of running around like a headless chicken seemed to have eased down, and I started to rationalize the situation that I was in of having no job. I thought to myself, why was I so stressed? After all, I could always get another job. I have saleable skills that are highly marketable. While I was pondering these thoughts, I realized that the reason why I reacted in the way that I did was because I associated who I am in terms of my self-esteem, my self-worth, and my self-confidence with my job. They were all closely intertwined. Then I asked myself, am I my job? Does my job define who I am? The conclusion that I came to was that it doesn't define who I am in my entirety. My job is something that I do and defines part of who I am, but not the whole of me. This was the reason why I was so deflated initially. My self-worth just collapsed because I was measuring my self-worth through my job, and once I lost my job, I lost my self-worth. So I decided there and then that I would never measure my self-worth through my job again. After all, I am still who I am whether I have a job or not. I still exist whether I have a job or not, and I'm still valuable whether I have a job or not. These moments of clarity helped me come to a state of calmness, and my thoughts led me to think about how many more people in the world measured their self-worth in terms of the job that they did. I remember when I used to go to parties or go to any gatherings, the first question that people asked was, what do you do? What kind of job do you do? It seemed apparent to me that I wasn't the only one that valued myself in terms of my job. This idea further extended into how we valued other people based on their jobs. If we met a doctor, we associated high value to him or her, and what he or she was doing was valuable. On the opposite side of the coin, if we met a cleaner, we associated him or her with low value, and what he or she was doing as a living was not particularly valuable. Change how you look at yourself and others. It occurred to me that the model that we used to value ourselves and other people was not congruent with our real self-worth. If you look at it from a humanistic viewpoint, a cleaner has just as much value as a doctor. Changing my perspective completely transformed how I looked at myself and other people. Nowadays, when I go to gatherings, although not lately, I would say that I'm unemployed and not in a hurry to get a job. People had a bemused look on their faces, as if to say, "Are you crazy? You're not normal, Everyone has a job. I was comfortable with this because I knew who I was, and I knew my value. Internal value is not always something that can be valued by external activities such as a job. For example, a cleaner may have a higher moral standard than a lawyer. To me, this is real value, value of character, value of sincerity and integrity. We all have internal values that may not yet be realized externally. This can be for reasons of upbringing or environment, or just that the opportunity didn't present itself in their lives. As a result of this line of thinking, I no longer associate my self-worth with my job, but only look at it as an externalized projection of my inner self-worth, not the transference of my self-worth to the activity. I still retain my self-worth internally, and a job is just an action which is an externalized manifestation of part of my self-worth. I am still valuable even if I don't have a job, because my self-worth is intrinsic to or who I am and not with the activities that I do.